Hey folks, it's Frithgar here, how you doing? Welcome back to Farming Simulator 22 with our realistic series. You do also have to be careful when you're turning the corners, you don't turn too sharp. A machine like this is particularly bad if you're turning sharp. I mean, they usually had like double jointed PTO shafts and that on them, just to help it out. But at the same time, driving one of these, if you do go around the corner too sharp, the pressure that the ram is putting onto the tractor back up through that PTO shaft is enormous. It really is. So if you're turning sharp, you're putting a lot of pressure on the PTO shaft itself. I've seen them break. I've never actually broken one myself, and I say that with a small amount of pride. But I have seen them break, and it's not that I'm, you know, some sort of wonderful driver that I haven't broken one. It's just that I've had good luck. Because eventually those PTO shafts, they do start to get worn out a bit. And so it's more a case of the unlucky person happens to be driving it at the time. They turn slightly sharp just to get round the corner. I mean, it should be able to cope with that turn. But if your PTO shaft is on its last legs, then that'd be the bit, that's kind of the straw that breaks the camel's back. That's it then. See, straw. See, all of this straw. Did you see what I did there? Yeah, that's the bit that does it. That's the final straw. And then it just gives up and it breaks. And it takes quite a bit to repair one of those. But, I mean, if you keep a close eye on them, you can normally tell when the thing is wearing out. And it's good practice to replace these parts before they snap in the middle of the field. Because it generally costs quite a bit of money to do the repair work, especially if it's beaten around a little bit first. Sometimes these things will break, and then they just kind of flail around mindlessly for a while, and they can break all sorts of other things. I've seen one break before now and then rip all the pipes that were connecting the baler, because the baler's got air brakes, it's got oil lines going into it and a few other bits, and yeah, I've seen one PTO shaft break on a baler, and it ripped apart all of the pipes and stuff that were going in there, did a load of damage as well, broke some lights on the back of the tractor. It wasn't pretty, and it took 2 days to repair it, so that was 2 days of really good weather with the straw on the ground that the baler was out of action, and you don't want that. You don't want your baler out of action in the middle of the straw harvest. It's essential that you keep it running. And I mean, yeah, the guy that I was working for at the time, he had 4 of these balers that he used to run, but still, he was a bit put out by the fact that the baler had broken. And he was trying to blame the guy that was driving it, except that all of us basically closed ranks, and we said, no, you were told that this one was wearing out. Because he was the kind of guy that would fire you for something breaking down, even if it's normal wear and tear. He was that sort of person, and he was really mad and was basically saying to this guy, you're not going to have a job. And so all of us closed ranks, and we said, no, you were told about this baler, we all told you that this PTO shaft was on its way out. If he goes, we all go. And at that point where we were, there was no possible way he was going to be able to, because everyone in that area at the time would have been flat out with the harvest. So there is no possible way that he would be able to find replacement drivers, because any potential replacement driver was already busy driving. So he had, there was nothing. Like, if it had been a quiet time of the year, there would have been people who would be quite happy to step up and have a bit of work. But it wasn't a quiet time of the year. It was it was in the middle of harvest. So any potential driver was already employed on a farm somewhere. So he'd have had to bring in agency staff from outside. It would have cost him an absolute fortune. And he knew that, and we knew that, and we said, no, you're not firing anyone over this. If you even attempt it, then we're all going. Every single one of us, and you can do it on your own. And so he screamed and swore and made a big performance, but he didn't fire anybody, which was probably in his best interest. He did try to make life difficult for one or two of us, but we didn't really put up with any of that nonsense either. And yeah, but apart from the guy that I worked for, the work itself wasn't so bad, so long as well, so long as the shear pins weren't breaking on a baler. That was always a bit of a nuisance. But yeah, it can do a lot of damage if one of those PTO shafts breaks. It's but fortunately, it's not something that would happen very often unless you're a bit of an idiot and you get warned quite clearly. Look, you can see this thing is on its last legs. It's going to break. You need to spend the £500 on a new PTO shaft because otherwise it's just going to snap. And it could cost you more than that. No, it's fine. Don't be stupid. It's absolutely fine. We're not wasting money on something like that. And then, bang! Off it goes. Ripped out all of the pipes. I mean, this is a newer tractor. It's got more pipes. But, yeah, it ripped out the one of the connections here. Most of it was just the pipes on the baler. They just got ripped in half, so they had to have new pipes with new bits pressed onto the ends, which is not something you could do in our own workshop, so you had to take them into the dealer in town, the guy that specialised in doing that in town, and the guy that specialised in doing that in town was usually pretty flat out at that time of year, so it took a while to get them back. And he charged a premium for fast work. He knew which side his bread was buttered on, trust me. And he also didn't particularly like our boss either, so he was in no mood for giving him reductions. He said, look, we found out later on that he charged an extra premium if he wanted them done quickly, which was kind of poetic justice, because this guy was unpleasant. It did a load of beating around here, and it dented up the metalwork here and also the panels on there, but that was just sort of superficial stuff, so it didn't really do any damage. There was nothing like out of the ordinary. I think there was one of those lights got smashed, and those you do have to have if you're on the road, otherwise the police will stop you. They're always on the lookout for things like that. The lights up there got broken. The switches, the tractors didn't have them. So there was nothing there that got broken, but the light on that side got broken and the light on that side got broken. I remember that. And one of the pipes here, instead of it breaking the pipe on the baler, it actually damaged it on the tractor. And that was probably the most expensive part to replace. All told, I believe he ended up having to spend in the region of £1,800 to get it repaired. And we thought that he'd actually gotten off fairly lightly with that. £1,800 because he didn't want to spend £500 on the new PTO shaft. Funnily enough, when we pointed out to him a couple weeks later that one of the other balers had a PTO shaft that was looking a bit ropey, it would probably be okay for a while yet, but he wants to consider replacing it, he actually replaced it 2 days later. So it would appear that he did actually learn his lesson. We were quite surprised. Not one of us thought that he would replace it. But yes, he actually did. He replaced the dodgy PTO shaft. Spent the £500 on the brand new one. And it carried on. We didn't have that issue again that year. I think that guy did have one other one break, but that was... There was no indication at all that was going to happen. I think that was something failed on the PTO. I don't remember exactly what happened with that because I didn't see it. I wasn't involved with any of it. All I remember... You know what I forgot to do? See how many bales we made. We had a bale counter on that thing, but we can do it like this. It's that one. There. Stored bales. Oh! There's a new shed now. Bales produced, 11. There is actually a new type of shed that was put into the game with the patch. It's now a bale storage. I wonder where that is. A bale storage and a pallet store. Agi Pack. I wonder if it's that. Garage to store vehicles and tools. Because that's before the Platinum expansion. There. That one. A bale and pallet storage. Now, I'm not exactly sure what this is. It says bale and pallet storage, so I don't know how this is different to... Oh. That's how it's different. It does actually have... So they've actually put into the game now a proper bale and pallet storage. You bring it up to the front, and you tip them out, and it stores it as bale. We're going to try that. I'm going to find somewhere to build it. I might not be able to do it just yet, but I want to try that out, and I want to see how it works, because that's now built into the base game, which means that console users have got a bale and pallet storage shed, which we've had on PC for ages. That's actually really, really good. I'm really pleased about that. That's awesome. We've definitely got to try it. So that's 29,000 to buy that shed, I think. Wasn't it? I think it was. Right. I've never actually used one of these. I've seen them being used. One of our competitors, so the chap that I work for with the balers, the 4 balers, one of the competitors, he had one of these artisan stackers, and he used to do it all with that. We didn't. We used a telehandler and a trailer for most of it. We did also use a telehandler and a stacker lorry, and it was a small lorry. It used to be a gritter lorry, and it was converted so that it would pick up 14 bales of straw. I have mentioned this before in videos a long time ago, but yeah, that's how that one worked. It would pick you, so you'd put a stack of 4 bales, and then another stack of 4 bales behind it, and then you'd put 3 bales on top of that, on the facing the opposite way, and another 3 bales up on top, so you had a stack that was 2 bales wide and 7 bales high. And then you would take that stack, the stacker lorry, the whole back end of it would tip up and reverse into the stack. You pick up 14 bales, and then you would drive that back to the main stack site. Now, that worked really well. It was quite a awesome machine. However, it was still a fairly slow process, and driving the stacker lorry was a loud and not particularly pleasant job. So you didn't have a lot of volunteers for doing that one. I seen that one being used a lot, but eventually they retired it, and they decided that they weren't going to do that anymore, and they would just use trailers and load-alls instead, so telehandlers. So that's what they decided to use then. Now, I have 11 bales. Sensibly, we should just go and put these 11 bales where we've already decided that we're going to put these 11 bales. But I really want to see how this bale shed, this bale and pallet shed works. Right? I'm really quite keen on seeing how that one works. I totally didn't do that. The sign for the chickens is still there, completely intact. There's nothing to see here, folks. Nothing to see here at all. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to reverse over there a little bit, because what I want to see is, can we remove this? I don't think we can. Yes, we can. And I can get 22,788 for it. Corral Model 2. Sell. Yes. Okay. Right. Model 2 has been removed. I wasn't actually using it. It does look a little bit bare now that we've gotten rid of that one. But what we're going to be able to do then is we go to silos. And this one for just 29,000. Bring that one round. And that one can go in there. So we've got plenty of room for turning round in front of it. I think we just need to drop it there. Because we're not going to be able to fit 2 of these in, are we? No, not a chance. Not unless I do some major reconstruction work. And I don't really want to do that anyway. I don't plan to store that many. So I've got plenty of room for moving around and stuff in front of that one. We've got the concrete posts and everything over here. I'm just going to tidy this up a little bit. Change the appearance here a bit. This needs to be changed a bit. There we go. Right. I've just tidied it up around the back and put a few little plants and stuff in. And Bit of grass growing. So it looks like it's been there for a little bit instead of just being plonked down 30 seconds ago. So we've now got our brand new shed. We're going to try it out. If this works, like I'm hoping it works, it's going to be a rather spectacular thing. I think this is a really, really good addition to the game. Open objects, pallet and bale and pallet storage. I'll get it right eventually. So we come in here. So we can't go in there. Right, that's interesting. You're not actually going to be able to physically drive into the shed at all. And then here I've got open storage dialog. Storage is empty. Total capacity 200. Right, okay. So it's just showing that everything is empty at the moment. If we go into this bit, it doesn't actually have an extra building in there. So it's just kind of on its own. I'm guessing it's going to be somewhere on here. Maybe it'll just be under straw. It'll be stored like that. I don't think it would list it as bales as such. Right, well, let's bring it over this way and see what we can do. We do have a line running across there, so perhaps we don't want to upend the artisan loader underneath the power line. That might not be in our best interest. Perhaps if we go over this side, we reverse down to the shed and we do it over this way instead. That might be a little bit better. Just saying, just saying. Obviously, you can do this however you want. Now, if I just reverse this thing in... Right, that's obviously not going to do anything like that. It's a bit odd that it's that far back into the shed. Have I still got to manually get these bales in there with like a front loader or something? I hope not. I don't want to do that. Right, let's try the unloading mechanism and we'll see what that does. So that brings that one back over that way and it lifts it up like that. And then what I'm hoping is that it will drop these bales directly into that shed. Now, I can reverse up to the front of the shed right there. And then if I press... Okay, that took the whole lot. Easily took the whole lot without any problem. So I'm just going to let that one drop back down again while I go over to the shed now and have a look. There we can see that I've got 11 bales in there. Square bale, bale and pallet storage. Total capacity, square bale, straw, 9,000 litres. So I go to this bit right here, and this says R to open 11 out of 11. Alright, let's go 1 out of 11. Start. And it places the bale right there out the front of the store, ready for me. So I'm just going to use the super strength a minute, and I'm going to pick it up. And now it's dumped it back inside. And it's put it on there. So... I've got the super strength activated at the moment. I'm just going to go and I'm going to grab... What have we got? We got pallets of eggs right here. So let's try this with a pallet of eggs. 340 kilos. Yeah, I'm doing this with a tractor and front loader. All right? This is a tractor and front loader. If you think it's me, you're clearly hallucinating. It's definitely not me. This is realistic. So we're going to drop that one in. Right. And I can see the pallet there. It's carefully stored. So we've got a pallet of eggs, 1,400 litres, and we have square bale straw. Now, this is really good. I really like this. This is now in the base game. So this means that console users can have a really good storage system without having to mess around with front loaders and stuff. I'm really impressed with this. This is a really good idea. This is absolutely fantastic. I don't play the game on console. So I play it on PC. So I have access to all of the mods. Right? Every mod you can think of, I've got access to it. I can use Courseplay if I want to. I mean, I don't want to. Right? No, I'm not using Courseplay. That's just an example. I can if I want to. Console, I know that Courseplay was released on ModHub. I don't think it's available for console, though. There's a lot of things that we can do on the game as PC users that console users miss out on. And I'm not interested in some ridiculous, stupid console versus PC master race war nonsense. It's absolute rubbish. We're all gamers. right? We all play games. We're all gamers. We just have different platforms that we prefer to game on. That's it. End of discussion. There isn't anything else. No better or worse way of doing it. It's whatever suits you personally. Something that I've always found to be a bit disappointing with this game is the fact that the console users lose out on so much because they're on console with this game, and they're not allowed to have so many mods because of tight restrictions and conditions imposed by Sony, and also, is it Sony? Whoever it is. And Microsoft with Xbox and PlayStation. Like, there's a whole load of restrictions that are implied, which means that they can't have the good, well, I say the good, they can't have a lot of mods, right? So there's a lot of stuff that they miss out on. There's all kinds of different gameplay techniques they miss out on. Auto-load trailers being quite a big one. I don't know if those are available yet for console users, but, like, having an auto-load log trailer for me is game-changing when it comes to doing the forestry. And for this game now, with the amount of pallets that we have to move around all the time, well, if you want to make any serious money, having an auto-load trailer that moves the pallets for me is invaluable. Like, it's game-changing. If I had to do that by hand every time, it would drive me insane. It really would. It would absolutely drive me balmy. So having this store right here, which is something that is already available on PC, like we've got various storage options like that, that's really good. You don't have to worry about stacking them away neat and tidy in order to be able to cash in on what you've got on your pallets at the best time of year when it comes to selling whatever those items are. And now you've got an option. I don't know if you've got an auto-load option for pallets yet. It's a bit of a shame if you haven't. It would be really good. That would make a huge difference to your gameplay options. But you have at least got that, and I think that's really good. I think that's absolutely amazing. Now, my next task is to get these lettuces and melons out of here and sell them. We've got a couple places that we can take them. There's the South Distribution Centre for the red lettuces, although I think the South Distribution Centre is the one that's a really long way away. And then the melons, they are the distribution centre still in town, and there's a pretty good price going for those. It's 508 at the distribution centre there, and 531 for the other one. So thus the next task is to get rid of all of those. Right, the better price is at the distribution centre, but I'm kind of thinking that I would prefer to go to the restaurant all in one trip. So, like, put everything all in one place. I'm gonna see what happens. I mean, maybe we could take the lorry and we could drive down to the distribution centre and we could go and gather... unload what can be unloaded there, because the lettuce, is that that's the lettuce there. One of them can't be unloaded there. The melons can be unloaded at the distribution centre, but the lettuce can't. And then the melons would be unloaded somewhere else instead, and that might actually work out a bit better for us. So we'll sort of see. Ooh, steady. We don't want to be driving off the edge there. I also want to try that again. It's really awkward trying to get in here like this. But I don't actually particularly like the way that these greenhouses are laid out, with the collection area being where it is. And also, there's only one line of pallets coming out on here instead of two lines of pallets. And I think it would be a lot better if there was two lines of pallets at least. Right, let's just back in there and get that one. And then if I park here for a second, we get the rest of the melons coming out. These are 1,000 litres per pallet, whereas the lettuce is a lot less than that. It's 500 litres per pallet for the lettuce for some peculiar reason. I have no idea why. But I'm happy with that. So we'll grab all of this lot as well, and then we've got two lots there. So, I mean, I could just go with the tractor down to... Because, you look, South Distribution Centre is actually the best price for the lettuce. And then here, it's the distribution centre for the melons. It's not a lot in it. There is some. Yeah, considering how much we've got, like, it's going to be a couple hundred if we take it all to the restaurant. If we just load everything up, take it to the restaurant. So let's try doing that for today. Let's dump that lot right there, and this tractor and trailer can move off out the way. We'll go and get the lorry, and we will run over there. Then we are getting towards the end of the day now. I have, so we did the harvest. I'm back doing more recording, so I'm just kind of like figuring out where I was exactly. Because there's nothing else that is actually ready to harvest yet. So essentially, I'm now going to be killing time until we do something else. I got to decide what I want to plant in this field where we had the barley. That's going to be about the only thing that we need to worry about, is what we're going to put in there. There's nothing that we need to worry about planting now. If we put canola in there, we'd probably want to plant that in August, but that would be the earliest one that we'd want to worry about. So maybe we'll wait until September and then we can do all the planting together. I'm not quite sure. So I don't actually need to worry about that at the moment. I've got this tractor over here that we put the front loader on to do stuff with, and that's the one that I'm after. So unhitch this trailer right here. We're going to want some more manure soon. Not quite sure when we're going to get it, but I reckon that once we've done the silage harvest, we'll have a boatload of money that we'll be able to go and use. So if I hitch that one on there, move you on out here. Once those greenhouses, I'm going to let the greenhouses empty out, and then we are going to move them round. I've been umming and ahhing about it a little bit, but it's the difficulty of getting in there with the trailer. I've put them too close together, so I will move them. It's going to cost us. It's not going to be a cheap thing to do to move those, but I definitely think it's going to be worth it. Right, so I'm going to load up that lot in there. So there we've got all of the melons, and then I'll go on over and I will get the lettuces loaded as well. Down here on the slope. I'll swing on round there. So it's the distribution centre that we want to go to first. Unfortunately, folks, that is all we have got time for today. A massive thank you to everybody who has earned their way into the Great Book of Names. To find out some more details about all the names coming past, please head into the description and click on the link to the Discord. It's a link to another video. The link is on the other video. Please also consider checking out the links there for Nitrado, who provide gaming servers for games like Farming Simulator, Minecraft, Ark, and several others. And there's also Fanatical, who will help support your gaming habit by providing you with cheap games and also giving me a small commission on anything that you buy using my link. If you've enjoyed this particular video, then please head down below and give us a like. And if you really enjoyed it, then please tell your friends all about me. Get them to come and watch as well. That would be awesome. And until next time, thank you very much for watching. This is Frithgar. Goodbye, and see you later.